So a non-whiskey color, obviously, for those who haven't maybe tuned in, would be pink, black,
and just those two specifically. Any other color is whiskey color except pink and black.
Yeah.
Yep. Maker's Mark. It's a whiskey. It's a bourbon. The reason we have a bottle of Maker's Mark is because I received a bottle of Maker's Mark. Not this bottle, mind you. A different bottle of Maker's Mark for my birthday.
But this
is the regular,
okay,
regular, if you will, version of Maker's Mark. As far as I know, it's
okay.
It's just says Maker's Mark, Kentucky Straight Bourbon Whiskey. We'll get to the special version a little bit later in the episode.
Okay.
But starting off here, we have the regular version because I don't think we should leap right into some special bottling or special cask of the whiskey without trying the base whiskey.
It makes sense to me. I mean, we have broken that rule in the past.
Oh, absolutely.
But for today, we'll carry on with that.
Exactly. You know, we're not committing the sins of the past here.
Right.
Right.
Okay. First thing I noticed, it's got the wax seal, right? Like, that's pretty cool.
It's really cool.
Yeah, it is. You think do you think they hand dip these? They can't, right? Like, they have that machine that just goes.
Part of me wants to say that they must automate it, but at the same time, with how imperfect all the bottles look, and they also don't.
Well, I mean, if it's actually molten wax, right? Like,
it'll drip differently.
Yeah.
You think they have like a machine that like dips it and then lifts it upright and lets it run down the bottle?
Yeah, definitely.
Okay. Well, we will fact check ourselves on that later.
Okay. So anything else about this that is stand out?
Yeah, it has a nice like paper label stuck on it.
Oh, not like a plastic.
Not a plastic.
Okay.
Well, the plastic sticker is on the back.
Okay.
The front's got like a nice papery label. Looks like the edges were cut with one of those like fancy pairs of scissors you had in elementary school that cut the funny borders.
Ah, yeah.
See what I'm talking about there?
Yeah, you're right. Got
some nice artwork on the label as well. You know, they definitely tried to make it look like some of the text was handwritten. Which is kind of a nice touch. They're clearly going for like a very homemade, small company vibe, even though they're obviously a much bigger company.
Yes, Kentucky Straight Bourbon Whiskey, handmade.
Handmade. That's very interesting.
Well, how else can you say that whiskey is handmade? I mean, if you're making a ton of whiskey, how much hand interaction is needed for handmade to be qualified?
That's a good question. Like, are they literally like scooping the whiskey with their hands into the barrels?
Was
like,
kind of hoping they were going to
mixing it with their hands.
The grains, but I like the idea of scooping the actual liquid into places. That's a good one.
Thank you. I thought so.
Yeah. All right. To break off from the handmade idea, I'm going to say that it is 100% marketing.
Yeah, I'm probably.
They want to make it seem like it's more like.
Yeah, like a smaller company, mom and pop type shop.
But it's not. It can't be.
It can't be.
It's everywhere.
Right. Maker's Mark is another very common type of whiskey. If you haven't watched our video about the 5
most common
whiskeys found in America, go check it out. We'll put the link up here, I think. Let's pop it open. All right. We've got a little pull tab here embedded in the wax that I'm kind of interested in.
I mean, that probably helps because, it is wax sealed.
Yeah. I feel like I'm kind of opening one of those...
Baby Bell cheese.
Or like the Laughing Cow.
That's the one. That's the one.
Yeah. Ooh, it's got a very sticky layer of something underneath the wax, which I don't really like touching. It was sticky. So we can...
It's a twist top.
It's a twist top under the wax. It's not corked. Well, it's a very small bottle to be corked. I feel like only the bigger bottles are usually corked. I could be wrong
because
with that.
cork is expensive?
I would guess cork is more expensive than a plastic top, yeah. Let's pour it. Do you get bonus points if you get a little bit of wax in the glass?
Only on yours. Maker's Mark.
Maker's Mark. It's a pretty standard whiskey-colored whiskey, I'd say.
Really? A whiskey-colored whiskey? Yeah,
it does.
It's pretty whiskey-colored.
Yeah. I mean, we've seen a lot of whiskeys, and this definitely looks like one of them.
So a non-whiskey color, obviously, for those who haven't maybe tuned in, would be pink, black...
and just those two specifically. Any other color is whiskey color, except pink and black.
Yeah.
Yep.
It smells like bourbon. It smells...
It does,
It smells upfront. It's got a bit more of that permanent marker, which I have determined I don't dislike. So there's that.
He likes permanent markers. Yeah, it's got a Definitely got a little bit of a woody smell too, kind of like we mentioned in Jack Daniel's, Jim Beam, and some of the other bourbons we've tried. I think it's got that little bit of charred wood smell.
Specifically oak, right? Because we know these are,
we know they're oak. I don't think I could detect the smell of oak versus other wood necessarily, but yeah, it's oak.
Oh, I feel like we could definitely go out in the woods and be like, oh, this is an oak tree now.
We'll have to try it, I guess. Definitely a video our viewers would want to see.
Can we lick the tree? Never mind.
Woo! Whew. Yeah, it's got a lot more kick than I was expecting.
Huh.
Wow.
So it has a very distinct bourbon type flavor with the flavor up front, the very oaky, and a little bit of burn, but also like a spicy and
yes,
it's almost like a more pronounced flavor than a normal bourbon would have.
Definitely
like more of it all at once.
Yeah, more flavor than the Jim Beam we tried.
But like not like necessarily like a more distinct flavor. It's just like
more of it,
more hitting you at once.
Yeah, more intense.
Which is very curious. Like how do they manage to do that?
Is it higher proof than Jim Beam?
Your thought though is that it is a higher proof and therefore a little bit more of a bite to it.
I'm wondering if that might be part of
okay.
it. Yeah. I think we also talked about the oiliness of whiskeys and how that can lead to more intense flavor because it causes it to cling more to your mouth, I guess.
And do you think this is more oily or less oily?
I don't know, actually. Yeah, it's hard to tell. I know that you can do the glass swirl trick and kind of see, but honestly...
I don't think we're good enough to do that.
No.
We have tried it in the past multiple times.
We have, and there's been whiskeys where I've thought it clung a lot to the glass, but then I've seen other whiskey YouTubers or other people out there say, oh, this is a very non-oily whiskey. So either I don't know what I'm talking about or they don't know what they're talking about.
I think we're just living up to our name.
We are the Laymen.
Has an appealing, sweet, oaky, apple-y type flavor to me.
Apple-y?
Well, I've said this before, is that like this idea of a candy apple is what I associate with an oak flavor. And I've determined that it's technically probably just oak. And I'm a fool for saying otherwise. But it's how I associate it. Like in my mind, it draws a picture of a candy apple.
I don't think I like this.
Really?
Yeah. It's very biting.
Okay.
It's got a little bit more burn than I want. I do give it credit for its kind of spiciness, complexity that it has. Maybe some little bit of cinnamon or nutmeg, a little peppery even kind of. But yeah, there's something nice about the complexity of that for sure. But it burns a lot and it's kind of woody. I'm not a big fan of it.
Okay. So you like the complexity, but there's too much detracting in terms of like the burn and the burn duration?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay. I am still getting a little bit of the burn now, so I understand the idea of like it's definitely a long-lasting burn.
Yeah, for sure.
I personally enjoy the flavors it gives. I could do a little bit less with the burn, but at the same time, I feel like on some days maybe I would like this more. Maybe on a cold day.
Okay.
You have a warm soup for lunch, but then, in the evening you might have some Maker's Mark. I'm giving this a 7.5.
7.5 for Maker's Mark from Mac. Okay.
I would definitely drink this. Anytime that I'm looking for a bourbon, I would definitely go for this. That's not to say that it's perfect. I think there still is that better drink out there. Mm-hmm. And I actually had a decent bourbon recently that I would rank higher than this. I'll talk to that later in another video, perhaps. But this is still very good.
I'm going to give it a 5.
Okay.
I'm going to say the things that I disliked about it and the things that I liked about it basically balanced it out to be a neutral score.
Okay, so maybe if you were at a bar and someone offered you a Maker's Mark, you'd be like, okay, but I
wouldn't turn it down, correct.
Okay.
If this was the only whiskey someone had at a place and I was really in the mood to drink whiskey, I would drink it.
Okay. And now, as a special treat, we have the actual drink you got for your birthday, correct?
That's right. My parents got me the Maker's Mark 46. 46.
All right.
Sure. Couldn't see the number.
What does that mean?
Well, I could read the back of the bottle to you if you'd like.
I want you to just tell me what it means.
You want me to make up a theory about it without knowing?
No, I want you to know. Obviously, as the whiskey layman, we should know everything. Are you expecting this to taste drastically different?
I don't know what to expect. I know literally nothing about this whiskey other than I received it as a present. And it has the same type of wax top as the other Maker's Mark bottle. And
I still like that wax top, honestly.
the wax top is
it's real
nice.
nice.
My biggest question on my mind right now, will it be easier to open than the last one?
One way to find out.
I bow to the superior whiskey opener.
I can't.
I loosened it for you.
Yeah, obviously. All right.
So pretty similar color to the last Maker's Mark for sure.
Maker's Mark 46.
I do
Oh,
like
it's got a seal.
Yeah, the wax seal on the front.
Oh, yeah.
That is so nice.
All right. Okay, hold up. So, we have top hats. We have metal cases for our stuff. We have felt bags.
Oh god, I can't even get it back. Wait, we got it.
And now we have wax seals in the bottle. Where do they rank in terms of fancy? Or is it just a separate category maybe of this is authentic because it has a wax seal?
Well, it definitely gets points for authenticity.
Okay,
And
okay.
definitely gives me more of that handmade vibe that the last Maker's Mark bottle was talking
Okay.
about, for sure. I'm going to say, in terms of fanciness, it's less than a crown.
Okay, obviously.
Probably about on par with the top hat, because I think a man with a cane and a top hat would probably mark his letters with wax seals.
I agree.
Is this a spicier smell than the last Maker's? Sharper smell?
I don't know that I'm getting necessarily a spicier or sharper, but I'm getting a less woody smell, I think.
Okay.
Maybe like a cinnamon that's coming out that I didn't get before.
Yeah, okay, that would be spicier, I think, yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
It took me 2 sniffs to get this cinnamon. This, honestly, it smells really good.
It does. It smells kind of like, almost like licorice a little bit. You get that?
No. So I'm getting a lot of the oaky bourbon flavor.
Yep. Yep.
I'm getting a bit of the burn.
Yep.
I don't know that I can necessarily tell the difference between the two that we just had.
Very similar.
Very similar.
I almost think this burns slightly less.
I wonder if maybe it's been aged longer and that's the idea, is that it would burn a little less because of that.
That would make sense. It
Should
is
we-
higher alcohol content, though. This is 94 proof.
Is it? Okay. Huh.
Interesting. Do you have a different rating for the 46 than you did for the regular Maker's Mark?
No, I would rate them the same, and that would make me more interested in getting the original probably, because I would assume that means it's probably cheaper,
Right.
less exclusive.
Sure.
How about you?
Oh, yeah. I couldn't really tell the difference, so I'm not going to give them a separate rating.
Okay.
Final thoughts on Maker's Mark. Either the original, the 46, in general.
I'll drink it. It doesn't matter to me which one is which. Whichever one I can get, probably cheaper. I didn't notice the difference between the two, but I enjoyed both of them.
Same.